Welcome. This is Coach Meg. I am based in London and I thought I'm going to come on here live for a little bit more than I've done in the past so that we can get to know who you are and you can get to know me a bit more. Welcome to this live stream. We're going to discuss a very important topic, a crucial topic that will help many of us to get back in alignment. Some of us may not be aware that you are out of alignment. You are out of your natural body rhythm. You are out of your natural alignment as a human being, your purpose, your destiny, what you are here on earth to do. And although this may sound like a heavy topic, I'm going to make it light for us, but we will go there. We are not afraid to discuss the important issues of life. If you have never met me before, I have worked in healthcare for many years. I've worked in 3 different countries over 3 decades, not consecutively like every year. I would take different gaps as I was relocating and moving to different countries to work in the healthcare system. I trained as a registered nurse originally, and over the years, I picked up other skills that I wanted to add to my repertoire so that I could be a more confident worker. I also found on my journey in healthcare that I didn't like the feeling I can only work in a certain department or in a certain section of the hospital. For example, in most hospitals around the world, you have the intensive care department, which I did work in, where patients are on life support. Some patients make it, some don't. There are other departments like the accident and emergency departments. The first place you go when you have an emergency or when you're involved in an accident or something happened in the night and somebody has to rush you into hospital. Accident and emergency is the first place you go. Then I also worked in other departments like getting people ready for surgery, the pre-assessment units. I also worked night shift, which is what we're going to talk about today, getting in alignment. I decided I'm going to put this video as a live stream for those of you who are just scrolling looking for information, but we are going to talk about getting in alignment. Because if you work night shift, your body is out of your natural rhythm. Your body is out of alignment. And I can understand this on so many levels because I remember when I first did my training, it was part of the training to know how to work on night shifts, how to stay awake at night when patients are at high risk, or some patients have had major surgery and the surgery will finish at night. So the hospital is a system that the healthcare system operates 24 hours, right? We understand that. Now, I want to talk about how to make sure you are in alignment so you are not working night shift all your life. I think this is such an important topic because I don't know anybody who's going to fight for you and explain to you the long-term consequences of working night shifts. I didn't even know when I was working night shift that it is not safe to work nights for too long. And you will not find anybody who's going to fight for you like I would because I did it. You see, I decided to come on here and do this live stream. For those of you who are going to catch it when you do, the right people are going to find it. Some of you are going to watch it later. But night shift will ruin your body's natural rhythm. And I know we can argue and say, but Coach Meg, who's going to do the night shift if nobody wants to work the night shift, right? We'll talk about all that. Night shift is an essential service in so many different countries. Hi, Katie. Good to see you on here. Welcome on here. I hope you're in healthcare. I thought I'm just going to do an impromptu live stream. The people who need to watch this are going to watch it. But welcome. And just so you get to know me, because I put up a lot of videos, but it's good to put a voice and a face to the videos, right? That this is a real person. So anyway, good to see you on here. If you know anyone that works night shift, please let them know because I've got a program that I'll be helping those of us who work nights, those of us who are busy parents, those of us who have multiple responsibilities, and we don't really know where to turn or where to go. Hi, Rio. Good to see you on here. Welcome to my live stream. Many of us don't know who to talk to because it's not easy to find this information, right? We can have people who tell us, oh, it's not good to work night shift, but how many people really work night shifts and understand the consequences, the long-term results? Yes? So some of us could be busy parents. Hi, security, good to see you on here. Some of you could have, you have multiple responsibilities. You have elderly parents, you've got children, you've got a full-time job, and then you actually have to work nights because you want to earn enough income. So I thought I'll come on here and let's just talk about this and let's navigate a way out of these challenges. Yes? Let's navigate a way out of these challenges. So, one of the things I did when I worked night shift, right, is I decided, is this all I'm going to do? In fact, I remember I was looking after some patients, and these patients were on life support. I've worked in healthcare for like 3 decades, not every year, but for a total of 3 decades. Okay, so in those 3 decades, I worked in 3 different countries. I'm now based in the UK. And so I bring a few things to the coaching industry and to the coaching markets. I found that if nobody fights for you, if nobody shows you there's a better way, you can be working nights, stressed out. And here is the more important thing. You'll be doing work that puts you at risk of having a heart attack. This is why this topic is so important. And I'm going to use social media to make it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, those of you just coming and joining. I'm going to make a bit of noise around this because nobody's going to tell us that sometimes the way we work is putting our lives at risk. Okay? And I did my research, having a nursing background. I decided I'm going to do some research so that the opinions I'm sharing are not based on what my limited experience, right? Because even if I've worked in 3 different countries, my experience will still be limited. So welcome to my live stream. If you know anybody who's really working hard and they are an amazing person, they are a great parent, please let them know that Coach Meg is helping those of us who work really hard and to support you to enjoy your life. Some of us, we want to start over. Some of us want to retire early from the jobs that we have, right? And we want to start doing something else because it's not easy. Okay? In fact, when I first started thinking about changing my career, I was like, how am I going to do this? Because I felt limited to what I knew. I thought the hospital is the only industry I could work in, right? So when I'm talking about transitioning from the work that you do to start something else, I completely understand the challenges, the fear, yes, and just the intimidation. Like people are going to think like I'm idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. And let's be honest, as adults, we don't want to look silly, right? As grown-ups, we don't want to look foolish. We don't want to look like we don't know what we're doing. I can understand that. But here is the thing. A lot of people would tell you, when you are starting a whole new journey, be prepared to look a little bit silly. Be prepared to look a little bit foolish. Because you see, the people that we admire and we think they are exceptional, they work hard. How did they get there? How did they accomplish that? It's because they were willing to look like a foolish beginner. Welcome to my live stream. Those of you just joining, I just thought I'll come on here randomly and start doing these a little bit more. And I wasn't sure who's going to come, who's going to join. But the good thing is with YouTube, you can watch this content later on. So thank you so much, those of you who are joining and engaging, and the hearts and the likes. I appreciate you. So anyhow, listen to this. This is what I did. I did some research, right? I did some research to help those of us who work nights, or your parents or a sister or a friend. It could be your partner, it could be your wife, it could be your husband who works nights. Please show them some love and let them know they have options. They don't have to work nights all their life because of the health risks. Yes, because of the health risk that they are more likely to catch. Okay, now this is what I did, and I'm going to do my best to make sure this is all well organized so that you can go over the content. Any questions that you may have that you may want to ask me later on, or can you expand a little bit more on this? Because I know I love YouTube, I love learning on YouTube, but just watching videos doesn't change anything. Just watching other people's content, just binge watching, doesn't change anything. If anything, we can end up being a spectator. And when you are a spectator, you don't really get the benefits. The person who benefits the most is the one who's putting out the content, a content creator like I'm doing. Because when you are a creator, when you are a content creator, you move from being a consumer to being a producer. And that's where the life is. The best life is on becoming creative, becoming a producer, becoming somebody who gives back in life, just like what I'm doing now. After 3 decades in healthcare, I decided it's time for me to give back the knowledge, the insight that I've gained working in healthcare. So before I even give you a list, because some of you are watching this later, I just want you to know this. It is time to get back in alignment. It is time to get back in alignment. It is time to get your whole system to be the best version of you. Here's why this matters. When you are the best version of you, you show up better in relationships. You have an option when it comes to relationships. You have an option what type of people you date. Let's be honest. When you are showing up in life as the best version of you, there are certain people you wouldn't even say hello back to because you can read them, you can sniff them a mile off that they're not the right people for you. Right? So whenever you watch this, listen to this. When you show up as the best version of you, it's just like you are happy with who you are. I am so grateful for where my life is at now. Having traveled and experienced setback after setback and navigating transition, working in different countries, it is not easy. In fact, the country I was born in Africa, I usually don't mention that. I leave it to my audience to guess. The country where I was born, where I did my nurse training originally, it was amazing. It was an amazing adventure. I remember working with some of the specialists and the surgeons, and I learned so much from being confident and how to be a specialist. You can watch any YouTube video now from any content creator you admire or respect or are learning from. And one of the things that they will tell you, in fact, even multi-billionaires, they will tell you, deciding to give yourself focus, deciding to run your race one lane is a game changer. When you are a generalist, anybody can do anything that you talk about. Anybody can talk about things that you generally talk about. And that's one of the things I realized I didn't even like about nursing. So as I was doing my own career, I decided to specialize and do intensive care nursing. And even when I worked in the intensive care nursing department, or rather in the intensive therapy unit, I didn't even feel like I was one of the best nurses. But what I knew was, if you need somebody reliable, dependable, somebody who's really present, somebody who's a team player, somebody who's a team builder, I was there. I didn't always want to be a team builder because there's two ideas, by the way. There's the collectivism, where we all do everything together, and there's also the individualist mindset. I like to say I can operate in both. I can be an individual, but I can also work within a group. It just depends. So that is why I'm not one of those people that subscribes to these collective ideas about, oh, people from Africa, this, oh, Africans are, all these ideas. I'm within a community, but I'm also still an individual. Yes. And this is very important moving forward and to be progressive. In any cultural group, when we have people who break away from just the traditional ways of thinking to adopting ideas that are global, that help you as an individual and help others in your community, I think that's where progress is made. That's where progress is made. In my own family, I talk about, let's make sure we are learning new things regardless of age. Let's make sure we are doing more with our lives because that's how we move forward. One of the biggest mistakes communities make or families make is where one is doing well and everybody just sits back. When one is doing well and everybody just sits back and is a spectator, and then they have the audacity to say, You are going too fast. You are leaving us behind. It's like, wait a minute. Can't we all go on the same journey? Let's go on the same journey together and let's learn what it's like to keep going forward. Because life is like that, right? If we are not moving forward, we are going backwards. You have to choose. You have to pick a side, right? You have to pick a side. You're either moving forward or you're going backwards. So in my healthcare career days, I decided I'm going to specialize and I want to make sure I am facing my fears. So one of the things I did is to start working in the intensive therapy department, the critical care department. Ask anybody who works in the hospitals. It's one of the scariest places to work because it's organized chaos. And you have to know what the heck you are doing. You have to be confident on your feet. You have to be able to think really fast on your feet. Because if a patient has a heart attack, you haven't got time to be thinking, no. That is why you can't even work in the critical care department unless you have the skill set. You can think fast on your feet, right? So is life like that. Sometimes life doesn't give us an opportunity to, deliberate 10 hours over a decision. Sometimes in life you have to make a decision quickly like this. Hence why I'm doing this live stream. We are going to talk about getting into alignment so that you are showing up as the best version of you. Showing up as the best version of you in relationships. Showing up as the best version of you when that relationship is over. Some of you watching this later are going to enjoy this. How do you show up when a relationship is over? Do you have to burn a house down when a relationship is over? Right? Or do you walk away from a relationship with your dignity intact? We have so many of us, right? Different personalities. We all show up differently when a relationship is over. Of course, I'm not dismissing the emotions that come with realizing this person is not into me anymore, or I am not into them anymore. They marketed themselves as a certain individual, but they are not that individual. And now I have to deal with the fallout. I now have to deal with this cold, hard facts that this person is not who they marketed themselves to be to me. That is tough. Many of us sometimes would rather pretend, right? You can see this person, there is no way we are going to meet in the middle ground. There is no way they're going to meet me halfway, either because I trained them to take advantage of the relationship, to take advantage of the comfort they have in this relationship and the perks that they enjoy, what I bring to the table, but they're not willing to meet me halfway. And when does this usually happen? This usually happens when you have a busy life, which is what I'm talking about, coming into alignment, when you are working nights, you are working shift work, you are so busy, you haven't even noticed that your partner is not really helping you. You can be so busy, we can be so busy, we haven't even realized our partner is not pulling the weight that they should, or they're not helping me as they should. And then here's another downside. When you're working nights, you're working so hard, trying to make sure your bills are paid, trying to make sure you're not stranded, you're not struggling. You don't even have time to have a healthy conversation because half the time you feel like a zombie. Yes? As I said at the beginning, welcome to my live stream. This is Coach Meg. I thought I'll come on here and do a live stream so that some of you can get to know me, the face and the voice behind the videos. I know you hear my voice, but anyway. It really helps to see somebody live in person, right? I'm based in London and I'm live streaming in London. What's the time? Let's see. Let's have a look. It is about 8 minutes before 5 o'clock. You can check your clock. It is about 8 minutes before 5 o'clock in London. 4:52. So anyhow, when you are working nights, there are so many disadvantages to your general well-being and your life more than the advantages. That's why we're talking about this. And because I know as a coach, you may wonder if you even have options. We're going to talk about that. When you are working nights, you are so out of alignment. You are so tired. You feel like a zombie. I used to feel like that. You don't even have time to have a healthy conversation. If anything, you can start feeling defensive. Like, I don't want to discuss that because you are tired and you are getting ready to go and look after a department with 20 patients, 30 patients, 40 patients, and you are getting ready to go back to work with multiple different personalities. You don't want problems at home as well, right? So, this is my personal opinion, and I'm going to show you some scientific evidence based research that there is more going against you working nights than working for you. And I know this may sound dramatic and a little bit like, oh, this is not safe advice. Because depending on where you are hearing this information, um, you might not be able to take the advice correctly. So I'm going to follow up with some responsible backup. I can make this bold claim because I have worked night shift. I can make this bold claim because I also work as a coach and I've worked with different types of people. And I understand that it can be challenging to break our habits. By the way, my healthcare background, my experience is helping people to change their habits. Yes, part of working in healthcare, working as a registered nurse, it sets you up to do so many options in life. But it's a career in which you learn how to work with people to help people to change their habits. I've done this in the hospital and I've done this in the community. So, working nights, there is more going against you than is for you. There is more negative than positive. Okay? So, let's look at some scientific research. When you watch this video, whenever you watch this, let's talk about it. There's more that is negative than is a plus. Okay, so I'm going to check my notes because I don't want to miss anything, and we are quickly going to talk about this. Working night shift gets you out of alignment. It throws your body into confusion. Why? Your internal clock, your 24-hour clock, the way nature intended, it goes completely out of whack, out of sync. That means you are more prone, more likely, I'll use different wordings, more likely to develop certain long-term conditions. Now think about it this way. This is why it is worth thinking, is this really worth doing for more than a year? Is it worth doing nights for more than a year? Is it worth doing nights for more than 6 months? It's probably not worth it. There is more negative than positives doing night shift. And I decided for this segment, this is what we're going to talk about. So here is a list of medical conditions that you are more likely to get if you continue working night shift. This is a very serious message I'm sharing. That is why I've posted a video talking about it is time to stop doing night shift now. Let's make another plan. Let's work on another plan, okay? Because this is an urgent message. So anyhow, I'm just checking my notes because I don't want to miss anything. When you are out of alignment, when your body is out of sync, you are more likely to have a lot of health and family risks. Remember, I talked about when you are working nights, you don't have time to even have a healthy conversation with your family, with your children, with your partner, with your siblings. You don't even have a social life. So you are losing out on so many fronts. I even now when I look back, I'm like, how did I even do that? And for who? And for what? To impress who? Why did I volunteer to work such a hard life? Because when you know better, you do better. Yes, when you know better, you do better. So here is the list. You have a higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease. Let's pause and think about that. When your body is out of alignment, when your circadian rhythm is out of alignment because you work night shift, you are a nurse. I used to work as a nurse. I used to work night shifts. Your body clock is out of alignment. So you have a higher risk of developing cardiovascular diseases. This could be hypertension, coronary heart disease. This could be a myocardial infarction, which is heart attack, right? You are more at risk of developing all these long-term illnesses. Here is more. This is all scientifically based, yes? It's not me just talking about it and yapping away. This is a very critical message I'm sharing here, and I'm just going to run through it. Okay, what are the other illnesses that you are likely to get if you work night shift for too long? You are also likely to get type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. The Lancet and Diabetes Care has highlighted these associations linking circadian disruption to hormonal imbalances and altered eating patterns. So there is more that is going against you if you continue working night shift, your health risk. So think about it. Who has to worry more about your health than you? Who must worry about my health more than me? It has to be me. We can have all the science, all the evidence, all the coaches, all the doctors, all the nurses telling us how to take care of our health. But nobody can change our habits for us. I have to change my own healthcare habits. Hence, my proven experience, I decided to change my working hours. Okay, now listen to this. Certain types of cancer are also linked to working night shifts. Some studies suggest a link between long-term night shift work and an increased risk of certain cancers because of the disruption of melatonin production, hormonal imbalance. Oh, I don't know any place that is going to passionately tell you about you have to quit your nights. You have to break your addiction to night shifts. Okay, so here's another one. Gastrointestinal problems. Irregular eating patterns and sleep deprivation can lead to digestive issues such as irritable bowel syndrome, peptic ulcers, and other GIT evidence. Wow. In fact, some studies were done in the American Journal of Gastroenterology. I hope I said that word correctly. They have linked shift work to an increased risk of these conditions. Wow, this message is so necessary. This is so needed. Obesity is another reason. When you have disrupted sleep patterns and hormonal imbalances, they can affect your appetite regulation, leading to increased calorie intake and weight gain, which is a risk of obesity. Have you ever noticed that some people work night shifts are overweight? Have you noticed some people work night shifts and are overweight? No shade. I'm just saying we should stop justifying unhealthy lifestyle. We should stop justifying unhealthy lifestyle. Some of us, as soon as we get our alignment back to normal, we start working nights, you'll find your body is better. My moods are better since I stopped working nights. I am a happier person. I can go on live streams. I show up with energy because I'm also active on TikTok. I'm so energetic when I do my live streams because I'm happy. My hormones are well regulated. I don't need to pay a specialist 20, 50,000 to get my hormone balance in order. I just decided to work the hours I chose, right? Okay, so let's do some more. This is such a necessary message right now. I'm going to do another masterclass on this because this is so critical. Listen to this. When you work night shift, there is more against you than for you. There is more that is working against you than that is advantageous. It is more disadvantageous than advantageous for you. Yes? Okay, so welcome to those of you just scrolling by and just joining in. I just decided I'm going to do a live stream today so you can see who Coach Meg is. Okay. You will also develop mental health issues. The chronic stress of disrupted sleep, social isolation, due to differing schedules and hormonal imbalances can increase the risk of developing depression, anxiety, and other mood disorders. Let's think about it this way, because I lived this life, right? And it wasn't easy for me to walk away from it. When you don't have a social life, you don't have a real support system. When you don't have a social life, an intentional social life that you are building on, like as is prevalent here in the West, there are a lot of isolated people. A lot of people are insular because they are busy working hard. We are trying to make our life work. We are busy trying to make our bills work. I can completely understand that. So imagine not having a support system. That can be isolating. But because you work nights, you haven't got time to build real connections. And I think that's one of the challenges I experienced when I started working in the online space. I used to find it really difficult sometimes to connect with people because my life had been so isolated. I used to work nights for long hours. Even when I worked days, I used to work long days. So my life was pretty isolated, right? And my friends were limited to the hospitals where I was working, or the countries that I had worked, or the people that I did the training with. Now, some of these people were spread out on different parts of the world. So it's not the same, it's different, right? There is such a healing aspect to getting a hug from a good friend. This is so important. This message is so critical. You need to sign up to my coaching program because I want to support you make the transition from walking away, working nights, to building a lifestyle by design on purpose intentionally. Yes, because I understand the journey, I've lived it. So when you are isolated, you feel alone. You feel depressed. You haven't got good friends to have a laugh with. And all your friends will be probably from the same industry. And you can also feel isolated because you don't want to talk about some of the painful work experiences because you're not sure who to trust, who to share your ideas with. Because you don't know, you might share your ideas with the wrong person and they'll tell a manager, and you shared your ideas with them in confidence, and then they speak to a manager. Before you know it, nobody likes you at work. Why do we tolerate this kind of thing? Why tolerate a hard life? Why? Why do we tolerate this? So here are some more reasons why it is disadvantageous to work nights than to work days. There are more disadvantages to working nights than working day shifts. Okay, here is more on the list. It also causes reproductive health issues in women. There is a potential link, listen to this, between night shift work and menstrual irregulation. Ooh. There is a potential link, according to scientific studies. I'm just checking my notes because I don't want to miss anything. There is a potential risk, a potential link between night shift work and menstrual irregularities. An increased risk of miscarriage and preterm birth. Hormonal disruptions are a possible contributing factor. And then here is some evidence. Some research in journals like Occupational and Environmental Medicine has explored these associations, although more research is needed for definitive conclusions. But I am not even surprised. Where there is hormonal imbalance, think about it. Where there is hormonal imbalance, you can even do your own research now and go check PubMed, PUBMED. What are the consequences of hormonal imbalance? You'll be blown away. You'll be like, I need a strategy now to stop working nights. You will make your own decision. You won't even need anybody to convince you. You won't need anybody to arm wrestle you. When you do your own research, you'll be like, oh, that woman was right. Oh, that coach is making a point. Okay? Okay, then working nights, here are the other risks. You can potentially lose your income. I talked about this when I was on a live stream earlier on TikTok. What does that mean? There is an increased risk of accidents and errors when you work nights because of sleep deprivation and fatigue. It can impair cognitive function. Nobody cares if you make a drug error. Listen, nurses, doctors, those of us who work nights, caregivers, even family members who work nights, supporting family members. Nobody cares what condition you were in. If anything, because you are on the lower end of the food chain, so to speak, for lack of a better term, you are more likely to end up being struck off the register. If you make a mistake working nights, you can lose your practice license. You can lose your registration, which is a loss of income. That is huge. Now think about it. We choose to work nights because we are hoping to make more money, make better income, right? I don't do that anymore. That's why I'm talking about this. But imagine you make a mistake, a drug error on a night shift, work looking after patients. Then you have a court case. Then while you're going through the court case, listen to this. You now can't even practice as a nurse. You can't work as a nurse. You can't work as a healthcare practitioner. Welcome to my live stream. I am talking about the risks of doing night shift, how to get yourself back in alignment. And I'm talking about these serious complications that a lot of people don't realize they've been working nights for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It is a huge risk. It is a huge negative in so many ways. Okay. Because of impaired cognitive function, you can make drug errors. This is not a joke. Okay, listen to this. Numerous studies in occupational health, I'm just checking my notes because I don't want to miss anything. Numerous studies on occupational health and safety literature have documented the increased risk of working night shift because of fatigue. And you are more likely to experience decision fatigue when you work nights. Okay, this is Coach Meg. I work as a business coach, a holistic business coach. I'm active on LinkedIn, I'm active on TikTok, and I'm also a little bit active on Facebook to help those of us who are transitioning from a professional career to starting your own lifestyle business. Because you realize the way my life is going so far, I don't think anything is going to change. I need to make some different decisions. I need to even take drastic action like I had to do in my own case. So here is another risk, which for me, this is a big one because I am such an advocate for family. I am such an advocate for family in the many shapes and forms that family comes in. When you are a night shift worker, you are out of alignment. Those of you who are just joining, I gave a list. You will have to go back and watch the video. I have been talking about some negatives of working night shifts. Welcome to my live stream. And you'll be blown away. If you know anybody who works night shift, send them my way. Let them know there's a coach who's making some noise on social media that we need to stop working jobs that are so hard. We need to start working smarter. Yes? Okay, so family and social disruption. People who work nights experience family and social disruption. Divorce. Divorce is expensive. The emotional toll of divorce on the person and the children we can't even quantify it. What is the strain on relationships? When you work nights, it's difficult to participate in family life. When you are working nights, it's almost like, let's be honest, it's almost like you glorify your job more than family. I know these are hard statements, right? Because we have to survive. And I'm making these bold statements because I have done the transition. It's something that I have done and safely moved to the other side and started doing something completely different. When you work nights, you are out of alignment. You have no idea where your family is. You might not even know your partner is having an affair because your life is too busy. You might be so disconnected. Your partner, your husband, your wife may feel so disconnected. They start feeling lonely, and everybody hasn't got a strong character. Everybody isn't that mentally strong. I'm not justifying that. That is ridiculous. It is useless. But let's be honest, there are people who are mentally weak. They cannot live with a partner who is not always available. So what are the other risks? You miss family events. You miss the milestones of your children when you work nights. Yes, welcome to my live stream. This is Coach Meg. Okay. It also places a huge strain on your relationships. Especially if you may start feeling resentful that you are the one working hard, bringing most of the income to the family, but the other partner you're with isn't. You can start feeling resentful. And when you feel resentful, that also affects your health. Yes, negative energy always affects your health. So it's like somebody else is doing the wrong thing. They're not participating in the well-being of the family, but you start suffering internally by yourself because you don't even have time to have a proper conversation. Yes. Okay, so welcome to my live stream. What else? We are going to talk about. Okay, another thing, when you work nights, when you're out of alignment, how it affects you. Those of you just joining, you will have to watch the video later. I've listed a few critical markers that working nights is causing so much chaos in your life at a level that you wouldn't continue doing it beyond a year. Yes? Okay. Childcare challenges. Managing childcare and family responsibilities can be particularly challenging because I did that, so I can absolutely agree. I'm just looking at all the evidence-based factors. Now, so I've talked about all the negatives, right? Let's talk about the positives. I've talked about all the negatives. Those of you who are going to watch this video later, we talked about all the negatives, but let's talk about the positives and how to transition. Look at it this way, that you are a superhero. I need to say that. If you are somebody who can work nights and keep it going, you are a superhero. If working nights helps you to put a deposit down on your house, you are a superhero. Let's bring the balance. If you can manage to juggle a job, family, and everything, I have so much respect for you. I want to just clap for you the right way, the real way. Okay? But I don't just want to clap for you because of, when we were in the pandemic, let's clap for all the healthcare workers. It's not enough. I also want to show you a profitable way out. Okay? So when you're working night shifts, what can you do to make sure you prepare yourself for better? Because when you look at all the negatives I've spoken about, the health risks, how to avoid long-term illness while looking after other people. Because think about it, you are supporting other people to become healthier, to get back home to their families, especially if you worked with patients on life support like I did. It is so rewarding to see somebody who was on life support start feeling better, and you take them to a step down unit, which was the high dependency unit we normally did. We transferred them to a step down unit because now they're off the breathing machine, they're off life support, and we've taken all the drips down, and now they can actually start mobilizing. They can start walking around, they can start communicating, because it's not easy when you've been on life support to get back to normal. It's a process, it takes a while. And depending on, this is very important, depending on their health condition before they went into the critic care department, before somebody ends up on life support. This is a very important aspect everybody needs to understand. It doesn't matter what illness comes. It doesn't matter what health condition comes. It doesn't matter if you get involved in a motor vehicle accident. It doesn't matter what you get involved in. It doesn't matter what disrupts your health. What matters is the condition you are in, the condition your body is in before that disruption in your health and your day-to-day. This is a very important aspect some people may take for granted. That is why you don't wait until you end up in hospital to start looking after yourself. Yes? This is Coach Meg with 3 decades of experience in healthcare. Don't wait until you're in hospital to start taking better care of yourself. Do not wait until another pandemic happens. Prime your health now. Let's not work so hard, making so much money, but we neglect our well-being. We neglect our social system. We neglect our support system, rather, I meant to say. Let's make sure, no matter what disrupts our lives, we are in prime condition. Yes, we are in prime condition. This is what I'm talking about. I thought I'll come in on here, just repeating myself, reiterating, and do a live stream so you can see, oh, Coach Meg is a real person. Please follow, subscribe, let's connect. And if there's something that you want me to talk about on the next video, on the next live stream, I'll probably do another one tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. That will be helpful for you. So anyhow, sometimes the best advice is so simple, so basic, you'll be like, oh, wow. Because sometimes as humans, we like complicated. We want everything to be so complex to make us feel smart. I don't know why that is. But anyway, it's, we are complex as in humans anyway. but the condition any disruption that happens in your life finds you. That's what determines, this is what I was coming to. That's what determines your recovery period, how quickly you recover. If you end up in the critical care department, hopefully not. I don't want to wish that on anyone because not everybody makes it. Some people don't make it out, sadly. If you end up on kidney dialysis, where your kidney function has to be supported by equipment, I've done all that when I work in healthcare. Your ability to recover quickly depends on your health condition. Now, your growth mindset, your attitude towards your own health, your sleep pattern, your nighttime routine. Do you sleep well? Do you take care of you? Yes. And I know we live in a world now that if you are not, sorting out your finances, you don't know what can hit you. So sometimes people are working from a fear-based mindset. Yes. Making money from a fear-based mentality is challenging at best. Because even when your health is at risk, you keep working. You keep working. You keep going because you are panicking. You're afraid. You're trying to sort out your debt. So you're panicking. You're trying to do whatever it is. Can I just say that is a trap? Doing life from a place of fear is a trap. That is why I am grateful for spiritual leaders, coaches, people who teach us how to slow down, how to calm down, how not to allow money to control you. Yes. So going back to some of the positive sides, the positive aspects of working nights. If you can do nights for a while, a period of time, and you get out of it, you are a superhero. You are wild. You are gangster. You are a precious asset in your family, if I can speak it that way. You are an individual that your family members need to value and support. Now, let me add something here. Make sure you allow people to support you. If you have a Samson mindset, if you have a Samson strength, if you are one of those spiritually gifted people that you are so strong, you can handle so much, you are so resilient. Can I also say, make sure you give people a chance to help you. Be the kind of leader, because that seems to be leadership for me anyway. Be the kind of person that allows others to help you, to support you. Like here, Coach Meg. It doesn't mean you're flawed. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean you're not competent. It just means you realize if I'm going to go far, if I'm going to accomplish more, I must be willing to allow others to help me, to support me. Just like we can see from big companies, big organizations, Google, YouTube, Apple. You don't see one person behind the desk, do you? No, we don't. We see a team of people behind the scenes. We see so many others behind the scenes, right? It's because you can't do anything great by yourself. And of course, granted, I appreciate that we are living in times now that you can make 6, 7 figures all by yourself, depending on the strategy you're working on. Okay. So anyhow, welcome to my live stream. We are talking about the advantages and the disadvantages of working nights. And I feel like I want to make a bit of noise around that because nobody's really talking about this, the long-term effects of working nights. It is a pattern, a way of working that I used to do for many years, and I decided not to anymore because I realized for who, for what, and why. Yes, I realized why. Who do I need to impress? For what? At the end of the day, I'm the one who's going to have to be spending all my hard-earned income on now getting better. Yes, let's work smarter. Okay. What are the ideas you can use? Because I know I've said all these things and you're probably watching this video and thinking as you watch it later, like, okay, what are the options then? I haven't got time to go back to school. I haven't got time to do something different. And I enjoy what I do. Really? I don't know any parent who enjoys missing out on their children's milestones because they are working nights. I don't know any parent who is happy to be missing out on the growth spurts of their children because they've been working nights. I don't know any person in a loving relationship who enjoys missing out on dates with their partner, their husband or their wife. I don't know any sane person who enjoys missing out on a support system because they're working nights. Yes, welcome to my live stream. This is Coach Meg. We are talking about the disadvantages of being out of alignment when your body clock is all over the place, the long-term consequences, how you can avoid preventable diseases when you get yourself back in alignment by changing how you work. So we're going to talk about solutions now. I've talked about all the negatives, right? So we're going to talk about the solutions. One of the first things you can do, you don't even have to leave nights if you want. You can cut back how many days you work for nights as a slow transition. That's the smartest way to do it. That's the smartest way to do it. Do it slowly. Don't just stop. Do it slowly. Transition, right? So let's say, if I remember correctly, I'm sure it's changed. If you work nights, like 1 week you work 4 nights, then 3 days off. The next week you work 3 nights, then 4 days off. What you can do is ask your manager to work 2 days instead. When you have a plan in place, which is what I'll do to support you, we are going to look at some strategies that you can start doing to help you. Okay? For example, one of the things I did is instead of just leaving night shift altogether, I started working less days, and then the other days I worked with an agency. Actually, not one agency. I worked with different agencies. And I didn't work with just any agency. I worked with agencies that paid good money. That's what I did. Because I knew if I'm going to walk away from this, I need to have a plan in place. So I worked with different agencies here in the UK that pay really well. And because I also had intensive care experience, that really showed up as a positive for me whenever I was looking for work. Because anybody who works in the healthcare industry understands to work there, you have to be mentally strong. You have to be the kind of person who can't allow others to push you around. You have to be the kind of person who makes their own decisions. You have to think like a leader to work in those kind of departments. Because the pressure is real. You can't fake it. You can't just make it up. The pressure is real. You can't work in that department and you are easily overwhelmed. You can't. No way. You can't work in the critical care department or the accident and emergency department. At least the ones that I worked in that I remember. You can't be the kind of person who's all over the place and panicking and doesn't feel confident. Because it's even more than the technical skill. It's about being able to be calm under pressure. Yes? The kind of person that can be calm under pressure. Okay? So, I started working with an agency, several agencies rather, and that helped me to bring in some good money. And that also gave me the confidence that I don't have to stay where I'm working. That gave me the stamina, the confidence that I don't have to keep working how I've been working. And as I transitioned, I started working with a private hospital. And as I continued transitioning, I just started doing other things. One of the other things I did is I started making handmade jewelry. Okay? Because I want you to understand, I know the transition is difficult, but if you don't do anything now, it's going to be harder later. Because you see, as we get older, sometimes it's hard to change our ways. Neuroplasticity tells us that it's easier to change your mindset and your behaviors and your habits as a child. A child is more flexible. You know, kids seem to be more resilient. They don't overthink things. But as adults, it's harder because we've got some reference points, right? We've got some negative experiences. And sometimes we overthink the negative experiences or we learn the wrong lesson. What do you mean, Coach Meg? You've learned the wrong lesson if that experience hasn't made you a better person. Ouch. We have to be willing to turn all our negative experiences into a positive. That's my perspective. If somebody walked out on you, it's time to discover your assets. It's time to discover your greatness. Yes, I'm just quickly checking any comments that are coming on here. Okay, okay, all right. Anyhow, let's turn every negative into a positive because that's the best revenge. Yes, okay. What else can you do? While you are working nights, say for example, in the area where you live, because you could be working in a remote area, and that can be hard to make transition, right? But you can adopt the digital nomad mindset. What's a digital nomad? That is somebody who creates content online and makes money online. A digital nomad is somebody who can work from anywhere in the world. So how can I do that, Coach Meg? I work nights. This is all I know. What have you learned working in your departments? Now, let's say for this live stream, let's say you are a registered nurse, or you're a medical doctor, or a physiotherapist who has to work nights, you're on call, or you're a social worker who does nights, or anywhere in that space, or you are a caregiver that works with seniors, or you are a carer. What are you learning about people in the department where you work, about patients, how people respond to medication? You can become a scientist by studying yourself and by studying people. You'll be amazed. Yes, you can upgrade your thinking, go another level by deciding to be more observant. One of my coaching clients, we were talking about how she had some clients that she was, not clients, some friends that would always ask for her advice because that was her skill set. And so it was a challenge for me to help my clients to understand that if people are asking you for advice in an area that you are a specialist, it is time to switch hats and become a real professional. If people are asking for advice and they need help, it is time to start charging for that advice because it is clearly helpful. Here's why this is important. And I know some of you are going to come at me because you don't understand this way of thinking, and it's because you are not desperate enough to change your mindset. So you might come at me. I can understand. I got you. I got you. When you are helping people in a certain aspect of their life that is helpful to them and creates a change, improves their quality of life, you can now start studying a little bit more. How much more can I do for them? What else can I do for them? Can I package my expertise? Can I put some contents together so that they can start creating this system so that it can help them on day to day? Because listen to this. Oh, this is so good. Somebody's going to catch this really quick. Somebody's going to catch this. If you help somebody's life become better, the advice you give them, and they are so grateful and they appreciate. I'm not saying everything is transactional. I'm talking about advice that people keep asking you. You need to monetize that knowledge. How, Coach Meg? You will have to come on my coaching program and show you. But here is some tips I'm going to even tell you right here. You can design an ebook and start building a community around that topic, and make sure you are focused just on that topic, also known as a niche, the problem that you solve. And as you build a community around that topic, you can do more research. You can even serve your community way better. Yes, you can serve your community way better because now you're becoming a specialist. You are using your decades of experience, especially if you've done this for 10, 20 years. Some of you are in your 40s and 50s. It is time to give back. There are people who are just starting in their careers. It's time for you to give back. It's time for you to see yourself as an expert who can help somebody else. You can help a community of 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 people. It's up to you. I'm just saying. Unless you want to continue working nights, unless you want to increase your risk of getting all these medical conditions that I've talked about, then we all have to make our own choices, I'm afraid. Okay, so how do you package your expertise? On social media, start talking about the problem that you've solved, and of course with discretion and being respectful to the clients that you have helped. You don't have to mention people's names, but you can talk about it as something that you have encountered in your working career. Okay, and if you are dealing with this problem, this is what you need to do. And then you create a framework, what people can follow, step-by-step guidance. When you create a step-by-step guidance, it's easier for people to follow without you being there. This is one of the things that even I'm working on now. I don't want to do a lot of one-to-one coaching anymore. I want to do more step-by-step guidance where people can just follow. And if you have an issue and you are concerned, you're not quite getting it, you can always reach out according to the structure that I've given the advice on. Yes? So, if you are working nights and you are like, I'm not sure how to shift my working patterns and get into this transition Coach Meg is talking about, how do I do it? Start where you are. When you have a break on nights, I know you will want to go and sleep. Absolutely. But do this instead. Take 30 minutes, go online and watch some of my content. Okay? Then go and watch the content of other people that you admire, you respect, and you want to learn something from. Then start taking notes. Don't just binge watch, take notes. Yes? Taking notes is helpful because it helps us to understand. When you hear what an expert says, say for example, I highly recommend Dr. Benjamin Hardy, find his content now online, and you're going to gain a lot of insights. Go and find Dr. Andrew Huberman. He's a professor at Stanford University. He talks about the circadian rhythm, how to get your rhythm back in alignment. I am binge watching some of his content. There's so many other experts I can mention. Dr. Amen, A-M-E-N. Another one is Dr. Caroline Leaf. So I've mentioned 4 different experts. Yes, there's probably more, but I can probably add the links later on when I finish this video. Then this is how we learn, is as you are learning the different ideas and topics they're talking about, decide I'm going to go on a learning journey to learn new skills so I can make better money, so I can walk away from working nights. Because who doesn't want to live a good long life? Some of you just watching this video, it's going to save you 10 years, 15 years, because you are determined to start implementing. Okay? So as you put aside a bit of time for learning, 30 minutes, you have to do this. Otherwise, you'll be stuck doing the same hours. You'll be stuck. You're not stuck. All you need is a roadmap. That's what I'm doing here. Okay, so take notes, because as you take notes, it helps to improve your own understanding. Like Coach Meg talking about building community. How do you build community? How do I work out the best content for my community? That is something that you can learn even in my coaching when we are working together. Okay, so that's one aspect. Put yourself on a personal development journey. Give yourself maybe 90 days, right? Give yourself 90 days to transition from where you are to your next chapter. Yes, your next journey. Okay, then what else? Start writing everything that you know about your profession right now, the problems that your industry solves, the problems that your hospital solves. For example, some of the hospitals in London are specialist hospitals. Some of the hospitals in London are specialist hospitals. Some hospitals are spinal specialist hospitals. Some are cardiovascular hospitals. Some are eye hospitals, ophthalmology, yes? Some are orthopedic hospitals. Every hospital can choose its specialty, right? And that makes them experts because they'll get a lot of years of experience of doing that, and they'll know so many different things. So if big organizations can do that, even those of us who are small content creators, we need to have that specialist mindset, that expert mindset. So mine, as you can see, health and wellness expert. I have 3 decades in healthcare working as a registered nurse. And I've just used most of my background experience to transition to becoming a holistic coach, holistic lifestyle coach, business coach, personal branding coach. So I use all my experience. So you never lose out when you do that. And its impact, it is one of the easiest ways actually. Use your experience that you've already got so far. Don't make it hard for yourself. Make it easy for yourself. You don't have to start all over from scratch. Start with what you already know. Okay? So in your industry, think the hospital where you work, perhaps. Is this a specialist hospital? What are we really good at? What are the problems we solve? Right? And then you can start creating patient information, helping people, giving advice online, people who are recovering from hip surgery, for example. For example, you work in the orthopedic department, right? You can start talking to people. This is what you have observed working in the hospitals. People don't do this, especially like for people who come back after surgery, they haven't recovered well. How can you prevent that? How can we prevent readmissions? What's another one? Maybe you work with the elderly in the community. How can we prevent readmission? How can we keep the elderly out of hospital? You know, there's usually a lot of information in the hospitals, around the hospitals, in the communities when it's winter, yes? But do you know that that information is usually not enough? These institutions need like field agents who are talking about that information. You can hire yourself to be like a field agent. You're talking to people, right? You are sharing knowledge on YouTube. You are sharing knowledge on TikTok. You are sharing knowledge on Facebook. That is you building a personal brand. I hope this is helping somebody. I hope this is making sense. Let me know. Reach out. Yes. This is a masterclass, seriously. And I'm doing it for free because I want to help you to start taking action. Yes. That is you building a personal brand, helping individuals in the community. And as you build your personal brand, if you want to go for some certification, whatever you want to do, absolutely go for it. But here's the thing. Some people would rather be complainers than action takers. This is it. Some people would rather be complainers than be action takers. Some of us just want to be complaining, blaming everybody else. We don't want to take charge. We don't want to take charge, and yet it's our life. It's our life, right? It's nobody else's responsibility, you know. For my own well-being, it's my responsibility. Yes. So you can be a field agent. You decide, you follow the guidelines, you make sure you follow the laws of the area where you live in, and start talking about preventative health. You can even do further studies. You can do your own research. You can start networking in the community. You can start doing live events. Yes. You can start creating packages to help people. And as people respond to the information that you are talking about, you can start packaging, you start creating ebooks. You can go on Etsy right now and start creating planners. This is such helpful information. This is so good, if I say so myself. You can start creating planners. For example, somebody's going to go and have major surgery. If you have worked in the surgical department or wherever your expertise is, you can start helping patients to get ready for surgery and after surgery. This is general advice. And you can put a disclaimer on your website and let people know this is general advice. You need to check with your doctor for your own unique circumstances. I hope this is helping somebody because this is really helpful to build your personal brand and making money online. Okay? If you have been working in a certain department for more than 3 years, you have become an expert. You are really good at what you do. Especially if you enjoy your work, you don't have to keep working long hours. Okay? But I also know the challenge is the confidence to switch over from where you've been to now taking full control of how you earn your income. Okay? Because making money online is deciding to take full responsibility of how you generate revenue. Yes, and you may even believe this is all I can do, but it's not true. You're just not aware of the other ideas that are available. Okay? And because I also know your life is really busy when you work nights. Your life is so busy when you work nights, you may miss so much helpful information that will help you get out of where you are. Okay? Okay, so here are some solutions now. I also put a list down because I don't want to miss anything. Okay, you can become a health coach. If you have been working nights for many years, you can become a health coach. Do whatever it takes to become confident. Work with me. Let's make a plan. Let's create a strategy. Let's do this. You can become a health coach. You can become a health coach for companies. They can hire you to be on their payroll. You can become a health coach for entrepreneurs. You can become a health coach for ultra high net worth individuals. You can become a health coach for high net worth individuals. You just need to start adopting the growth mindset. Okay? Don't just jump into something without preparation. I'm a coach to help people to get ready for where you want to be. Don't just start from nowhere. You will be thrown out and you will feel like this is embarrassing. You have to be ready for where you're going. Yes, it's the smart way. You can also become a lifestyle coach. Yes, you can help people achieve personal goals because there's no career like nursing that helps people to change their habits. So imagine helping other people to change their habits. It's now your turn. It's now time to celebrate you and all your accomplishments so far and start doing something for you that is helpful for you, that is holistic in nature. Okay? Welcome to my live stream. I am talking about the benefits of getting away from nights. Okay? And your options that are available to you. Here's something else you can do. You can become a senior care coach. What does a senior care coach do? A senior care coach works with agencies, works with families in the community. You can even start your own agency if you want. Yeah, so I'm just giving some options for you. Okay. You can also become a mentor and a trainer for new nurses or nurses who are struggling to navigate their career. Okay, that's one of the qualifications I did as well. I did further training when I was working as a registered nurse in a private hospital in Reading. I was working for Bupa at the time. I went on and did further study with the University of West London. It is now, that's what it's called, or that is on my LinkedIn account. You can check that out. And this will be in a hospital setting, but the skills you will learn, you can apply outside of that. Yes? Okay. So you can also work within the hospital, or you can work as an independent consultant. It just depends on your level of confidence and the knowledge that you want to acquire. Okay? You can also do first aid as a trainer, first aid trainer, or you can do advanced training, CPR. Yes, cardiopulmonary resuscitation training. These are all high demand skills. You will never be out of work if you have a healthcare background. You will always know how to make money. If anything, some of you who may be listening to me, maybe you like what I'm talking about and you're thinking, oh, I actually want to get into healthcare. Let's go for it. I have a separate training for that. Let's go for it. I can help you prepare to work in healthcare, what you need to do, the mindset, the attitude to make sure that your career in healthcare is sustainable. There's a popular YouTuber here. He used to work as a doctor here in the UK. He is now an influencer and he's done really well. He's written a best-selling book. I haven't read it, but I saw him talking about it and I saw it. It became a New York Times best-selling book, Joyful Productivity. His name is Ali Abdal. I think I've said the name correctly. If I have not, I'll check it out. He used to work as a doctor and he decided he didn't want to work like that anymore. So, if doctors are leaving, everybody, we all have to make our own decisions. I was actually surprised because, when I worked in healthcare, I used to think most doctors are happy. No, let me rephrase. I could tell some doctors were not happy. In fact, I remember trying to help one of the doctors to find work at another hospital. She was so stressed out. She was experiencing a lot of bias and negativity that she wanted to start working somewhere else. So, anyhow, what else can you do? You can decide to become an author, you can become a speaker talking about health and wellness. Yes, you can start speaking at conferences, workshops, and corporate events. You have so many options. You can become a clinical researcher. You have options. Do not allow where you are to limit you. The only question is, are you willing? This is where it's at, right? Are you willing to do a little bit extra so that you can transition to something else? Because a lot of people say, I'm tired, but they don't take action. And listen to this. When you keep saying, I'm tired, everybody gets tired of listening to that. We want action takers. Yes, we want action takers. So you have to take action. You have to take action. Yes, you have to take action. What else? You can start a concierge service for seniors. You can also start a digital based agency. And there's so much I can go into that. You can also start creating content. You can also become a personal trainer if you like. So now listen to this. This is just your healthcare background, your healthcare experience, working nights. Now, what about your personal hobbies? I'm going to have a little drink. I hope this is helping somebody. Those of you just joining, this is Coach Meg. I thought I'll come on here and do a live. I didn't really announce it for a long time. I'm going to do more of these. Now, those of you who are just joining or watching this video later, let's talk about your personal hobbies that you've probably forgotten about. I know you've been working nights because I'm intentionally focused on those of us who work nights, who work long hours for this segment today, this live streaming. Let's talk about your hobbies, things that you enjoy that you were not even trained to do, that come naturally to you. Some of you are really good at cooking. Yes, I'm just checking my YouTube accounts now. I just wanted to see something because I'm coming back to this. I'm coming back to this. Just a second. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. While doing the live stream, I've got 2 more new subscribers. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. I hope you get a lot of value from my content. And if you have any questions, I want to support you and help you and answer your questions directly, especially when it comes to health and wellness related topics. Or you may have family members, especially seniors, and you're not sure how to navigate the healthcare system, how to be an advocate when it comes to your medical conditions that you are struggling with. Yes, how to be your own advocate, how to be a well-informed advocate when it comes to your medical condition, so that when you are doing your doctor's visits, you are well informed and you have the right questions that you can ask. And if you need any help and support there, just let me know. Yes, and I can help you with that. It's part of the coaching that I do. So anyhow, I'm just checking something on here. Oh, this is really good. I'm just checking my live stream on another device. This is very good. I just thought about that I need to do this. Okay. Anyhow, welcome to my live stream. Those of you just joining, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Somebody said, did you know my mom is an accountant? I'm not sure what that's got to do with what we're talking about, but anyway. Or maybe the mom was a nurse and decided to become an accountant. Very good. Brilliant. Appreciate you. That is really good. I so admire people who walk away from what they used to do, what they are comfortable with, and step into the unknown and start a completely different career. That is amazing, right? That is really amazing because it takes guts. It takes guts, it takes courage, it takes a level of self belief to get out of your comfort zone and step into the unknown, into a completely new world. But I also believe it's a form of self love where you decide, I don't have to keep working the way I've been working. I can do something completely different. So, anyhow, I've just mentioned a list of different businesses you can do, or part-time gigs, as you guys like to say, or side hustles. I don't really like that term, but it's a term that's generally thrown around. A lot of people understand. So I've spoken about a few ideas like becoming a concierge, starting a digital agency, becoming a digital nomad where you can work from anywhere in the world. Because when you are working nights, you just want to get out, you want to see the world, you want to travel, you want to explore. And it can feel scary because you are so used to working in a safe space. And can I say, this is coming to my mind as I'm talking about this? When you are working nights, it can feel like you are in the womb, like you are hidden. You know, when you are working in the hospital, oh, I need to have some more apple juice. When you are working in the hospitals, it can feel like you are a child hiding. So I want you to understand that I know what that will feel like. It will feel like getting out into the wide world. You know, you are playing it safe, you know your routine, you know, you are sleepwalking most of the time. Well, I was when I did nights anyway. I was sleepwalking most of the time. I felt anyway. So to get out of that can be challenging, right? It can be really challenging. That is why Coach Meg is here to support you, because I've been there and I know what that is like. So anyhow, I've listed a few ideas. What other ideas? You can also be a writer, you can be a consultant, you can start providing some training like intravenous therapy. I am looking for some nurses who are ready to transition into a different lifestyle. The opportunities that are available in the marketplace, you have no idea. You just need to go on YouTube now and search for yourself. Nurses who transitioned into starting their own businesses. Some started making six figures, seven figures that you will never make as a bedside nurse. Usually, as a bedside nurse, you'll never make six figures, seven figures. Forget it. Because the hospitals, the organizations, they have a limited budget. That's how it is. They have a limited budget, right? So it is up to you and me to be well informed and to design our lifestyle. I hope this is making sense. I know some of you are going to watch this later. And what I'll do, as I'm looking at the screen, I'm going to put some information on the sidebars so that you have an idea what we're talking about. So, anyhow, what else can you do when you've been working nights for a long time and you're not sure how to make the transition? Make a decision. I'm going to start now and I'm going to learn as I'm going. Do not make the mistake of thinking I have to have all my ducks in a row. Do not make the mistake of thinking when everything has worked out, when everything makes sense, that's when I'll dive out of this, jump out of this. That is not smart, because there's so many things you're going to learn about yourself when you get onto this journey, which I like to call the best personal development journey. Starting your own business, building your personal brand. Building your personal brand is an amazing journey. It is the best personal development program on the market. That has no limits. That has the potential of generating six figures, seven figures. Who knows? It's all up to you, right? What you decide and the direction you want to go. Okay, so I was just checking something. Oh, I'm just checking something because I don't want to miss anything. Okay. I was just checking something on my LinkedIn. All right, so going back to getting back in alignment when you have been working nights. I said at the beginning of this video, because I'm going to start getting ready to wrap this up now, I'm going to be doing live streaming again later on, I think tomorrow, around the same time, between 3 to 4 is when I'll start. So if you want to know more and you want to get to follow this journey of transition in the diaspora, you will be welcome. And if you want to know some support, you need some resources, let me know. Because remember this, nobody has to limit how you work, okay? So at the beginning of this video, I talked about one of the negatives of working nights is your body is out of alignment. Your body clock is all over the place. You are effectively telling your body, I don't care the way you work naturally. I'm going to force you to work the way I want. So it's almost like you're fighting your own body. And when you're fighting your own body, it can take a while for you to retrain your body. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to love you, because our bodies are the best machine God gave us, right? To work from. Okay. One of the things I had to do, it can take a while to transition. So you probably need to give yourself a minimum of 6 months, right? Give yourself 6 months to transition away from working nights to starting a lifestyle business. Starting a lifestyle business can mean many things. It can mean starting part-time like I had to do in my own journey. I started working agency shifts, and then I started making handmade jewelry, and then I set up a recruitment company. I've done different things, and I did other things like even residential cleaning. I was feeling so rebellious. I was like, I am fighting the system. I am not going to allow myself to feel stuck. So I did residential cleaning. I like that I would work, you know, I was very particular. I didn't do for anyone. I remember one of my clients was a multimillionaire, and I'm so grateful I did that. One of my clients, when I did the cleaning company, was a multimillionaire. So I learned a few things from them because I wanted people who pay me good money. I liked that as soon as I finish cleaning, I get paid. I loved it. I finish cleaning, I get paid. Next. I finish cleaning, I get paid. Next. I finish cleaning, I get paid. Next. Because I started to understand if anything is going to change, I have to change it. Nobody's going to change it for me. So welcome to my live stream. I am getting tired now. I'm going to start wrapping up. My body clock is telling me, Coach Meg, it's time to wind down. I must live what I preach, right? Listen, if anything I've said is helpful to you, like I said, just to recap, I've talked about the disadvantages of working nights. You put your body at risk of developing long-term illness, which is preventable, like cardiac conditions, health illnesses, the increased risk of cancer because your hormones are out of whack. Your hormones are out of place. Go and check specialists, experts, anybody that you want. Do your own research. Go check out Dr. Andrew Huberman. He's a professor at Stanford University. He is talking about this a lot, and he's doing really well. A lot of people are beginning to understand we need to take better care of our health. He talks about how when you wake up in the morning, it is important to get a bit of natural sunlight, at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes when you wake up in the morning. Yes, 10 minutes, because that stimulates your energy hormones. It stimulates your cortisol levels. Now, when your body is out of sync, your body can start fighting itself, which can reduce your immunity, your body's ability to fight infection and disease. So you will have a higher chance of acquiring all these flus and pandemics when they come. Okay? And I'm speaking as a coach here. I want you to do your own research. I want you to make an informed decision. Yes? Make an informed decision. But I highly recommend start considering winding down and retiring from night shifts. I'm not even joking. It's serious. It is so serious. You cannot rely on the healthcare system because you don't know. The day that you are not feeling well could be one of the busiest days of that hospital. And by the time they attend to you, we know about waiting lists in the outpatients. By the time they attend to you, you're probably getting worse. So I am being a responsible citizen, not just as a coach, by talking about preventative measures. Preventative health is the best health. Preventative health, preventative medicine is the best medicine. Natural health is the best health. What's another thing? You need to sleep better. When you sleep better, your body repairs itself. I used to miss going to sleep at night. And I remember you feeling really upset that I had to work nights. I used to feel really upset that I had to work nights until I took charge. I took charge. I decided I have to make the decision. It's nobody else to make that decision for me. And I knew it wasn't going to be an easy decision, but I had to make it. And I'm so grateful I did. Okay? What's another thing? You are more likely to develop diabetes. You're more likely to develop obesity because of hormone imbalances when you work nights. Your body clock, your circadian rhythm is all over the place. Your body starts to fight itself. Now imagine this. Please go and do your own research. Make an informed decision. Imagine this is your body is your house and you're not taking care of your house. What happens? The house starts to stink. When you are not taking care of your house, metaphorically speaking, your house starts to fall into disrepair. So our body, our health is our house. That's why we dream about our own houses, even in dreams. The condition of your body, you will have it in dreams. Nobody must care about my house more than me. I don't care if a doctor has 20 degrees, he's got, global experience, he's an expert. My body is my priority, not the professional. I must be my first doctor. I must know my body more than the doctor, right? And I appreciate, I've worked in healthcare. I appreciate all the experts, but this is my attitude. This is my mindset, and I know it has served me well. You have to be the first action taker. You have to be the one who's willing to go first. Before I even go to a GP, I need to have some idea what's going on with my body. Why am I getting a headache? What's going on? I know I'm resting. I know I'm eating well. What's going on? Try and cure myself as much as possible. Go to bed a little bit early. Because God has designed our bodies in such a way that the body repairs itself when you sleep at night. Right? So we have been talking about getting back into alignment and running away from night shift as quickly as possible. You best run away from doing nights as quickly as possible. And I can make this bold claim because it's something that I did for many years. And it's because I have a program that will help you, a strategy that will help you to transition safely. I'm not talking about just leave your night shift. No, I'm talking about let's put a plan in place. What can you start doing while you are doing nights with a plan in mind that within 6 months I'm out. I'm either going to start working day shifts or I can just switch careers completely if I want. Like I did. I exposed myself to the marketing world, to the business world by doing different things so I could understand the marketplace. Maybe it's the way I'm wired, but I didn't just want to start a side hustle. I wanted to understand the business world. I wanted to understand what it's like to find your own clients. I wanted to understand how to create an operation system, how to design how I work. I wanted to understand how to hire others to help me in areas that I'm not so good at, where I don't have the expertise. I wanted to understand how to write an email. I wanted to understand how to write copy. I wanted to understand how to network on platforms like LinkedIn, right? So that's just the way Coach make things. So I don't know if anything I've said today has been helpful to you. I hope it has. I know this will be helpful for somebody, for the right person. And if you are like, I want to know more, I want to understand this a little bit more, I'm not quite ready to make a decision, but I need to get some more knowledge and insights, let's hang out. I'm going to do more of these events, which are also known as like a masterclass. I've been on here like 1.5 hours. I'm also active on TikTok. I do live streaming on TikTok. I've started doing live streaming on TikTok as well. And I'm also active, a little bit active on Facebook. And, I'm active on most of the social media platforms because, many of us are active on different platforms. But anyhow, what else can you do to get yourself back in alignment? Always think, what is my support system? Like, who is a part of my support system? We all need a support system. We all need friends who are there for us in the good, the bad, and the ugly. Too many people in the West are living isolated lives. Too many people in the West are living insular lives. Too many people in the West are struggling with mental health issues. If only they had somebody to talk to, they would realize they probably are doing better. There's some people who, whatever you are going through, is because of your environment. You are working with a narcissistic boss. You are working with a micromanager who makes you question your own sanity. Some of us are working with people who are controlling. They're in your business. They haven't got the skills to let you be. They are not confident enough that you can figure things out. Let's call it as it is. There are people who we work with. They are so insecure, they will not let you think for yourself or contribute to the solution. It's the world we live in, right? And I don't know about you, but do you have to keep tolerating that? Do you have to keep accepting that? People who just micromanage. There's a certain age that you can't tolerate being micromanaged. It's not good for your mental health. There's a certain age in life that being micromanaged is disrespectful. It is outright rude. It is unacceptable. It's non-negotiable. So, Coach Meg, I don't have options. No, you do have, my friend. You do have options. All we need is start looking at an exit strategy. What's the plan? What can we work on now? We can work on together so that you can move to what's next. What can you create that will support you for the rest of your life? What can you create that will support you for the rest of your life? For example, in my healthcare days, right? Because of the few years that I worked, I was able to get a small pension because I left earlier than my retirement age, right? I'm still getting a bit of money that I'll get for the rest of my life. I know, also known as a pension, and it may have a negative connotation, but when you look at it from a business perspective, the few years that I worked, I'm going to get some money every day of my life for the rest of my life. And that was just one area of my life. What if you start learning these new skills we're talking about? How to set up your YouTube channel, how to start doing live streams confidently. Yes. How to start writing contents for your niche audience, the people group, the community that you want to work with. Because now you are free to choose who you work with. In our jobs that we work, or I have worked anyway, you don't always get to choose who you work with. You have to work with whoever. People who may not like your background, people who may not like your confidence, or people who may want to bully you as an adult, which is, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous to me. It is ridiculous. But when you're doing your own thing, you work on your terms. And I know you may be like, oh, I'm going to miss my friends, Meg. I would rather miss my friends and step into a new adventure where there's no limit on my income. I would rather get on that journey. And if those friends are really your friends, they will still be with you. There are people I worked with for many years I've never seen ever again. And I want you to think about it like that. There are people who you're spending so much time with now, you may not be willing to even walk away from. The truth is in the pudding. When you decide you're going in a new adventure, you thought they were your friends, but you'll be shocked. They'll never talk to you ever again. They'll never check out on you. Where are you? How are you doing? How's your adventure? How's your business? They'll never talk to you. In the meantime, you thought they were your friends, and I'm not saying everybody's like that. Some people are like that. This whole time, you think we are buddies, we are doing life together, but they don't care. They'll never check out on you. Worse, they'll never even come to your funeral. I'm not being dramatic. This is the truth. I said earlier on in the video that there is more working against you than working for you when your body is out of alignment because you're working nights. Let's slow down. This is serious. I care enough to make some noise around this topic. There is more that is against you when you are working nights. Long hours, stressful environment, toxic environment. There is more that is working against you more than you realize, that you may not quantify right now, but one day you will find out. And so I am being like an advocate for your future self. I want you to be proud of your future self. That is why I'm bringing this topic. I'm not here to just share knowledge and ideas. I have understood that sometimes when you have the right support in life, we all can fly, we can all soar. But some of us are not willing to take action. Some of us are so stuck in being complainers and we have no idea we're getting worse. I'd rather take action. I'd rather take action. Okay, Coach Meg, what do I need to do? Clearly, I need to make some changes because I can see I am missing out on my children's milestone because I'm working so many nights. I'm missing out on my partner. We haven't had a date night in years because I'm always working nights, or my job is so demanding. And the people I love the most are the ones suffering. Because even if the people we love the most are willing to stay with us, right? They are with us. Let's not take the people that love us unconditionally for granted. Let's not take the people that love us unconditionally for granted. Because sometimes people see. We can see who really supports us. We can see who really cares about us. Yes? So, what else, Coach Meg? I'm wrapping up now. Thank you so much for the hearts. You see, I'm getting a little bit. I just remember this is not TikTok. On TikTok, when you are on TikTok, you can do all the hearts. Can you do the hearts on here? I think this is my third live stream I've done on YouTube. Can you do hearts on here? The two of you that are watching, can you power tap, or that is just for TikTok? That is probably just for TikTok, right? Anyhow, when your body is out of alignment, you haven't got time to have healthy discussions with family members or, sort some relationship issues because you're too busy. You're too tired. You are exhausted. Here's another thing. You miss out on the way your children are growing, their social life. I'm reminded in winding down, I'm reminded of a very sad story when I was in high school. When I was in high school, one of my classmates, many, many years ago, long time ago, her mom used to work nights. And if I remember correctly, she was a nurse. That young child was so isolated, feeling alone, and they were so depressed, they didn't feel like life was worth living anymore. It is so powerful. I'm slowing down as I wind down. Your presence matters so much. Do not take it for granted. Your presence in your children's lives is so powerful, you have no idea. It's not about how much money you can give your children. It's not about how many designer shoes that we can give our children. It's not how many times we can take them to Disney World. Our presence is priceless. And this is not just for our partner, our spouse, even our siblings. There is something about being fully present in another person's life that makes that person feel important. You see, like now, right? When I do a live stream, I know with this social media age, some people may even take it for granted. Oh, who are you online? There is something about seeing another real person who has faced similar challenges and is available and is present and is talking about the issues we all struggle with. Real issues, not what we read in a book. This is like making space for another human being. That is priceless. Not everybody understands that. In this world where some people think, you know, in this Tinder age, right? Swipe, you can swipe. Hmm. Decide your worth and value that I matter to my family and my children, whatever my background is. And I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to be fully present for my children. I'm going to be fully present for my siblings. I'm going to be fully present for my partner, my husband. I'm going to be fully present for my church. But we cannot be fully present when we are stressed out, wondering how to pay our bills, wondering if the boss is happy with us, wondering if we are next in line for promotion. Promotion comes from God. I know we live in a world where people can promote who they choose. But here's a spiritual law. God sees what we do in life. God sees what we do in secret. There's no escaping it. Whether you believe or not, whether you go to church or not, there's no escaping it. God sees what we do in private when nobody's looking. Be the kind of person who does the right thing when nobody's looking. People who do the right thing in private, they get promoted in life in ways that you cannot even quantify. Peace of mind, a loving family, people that are real. You can't put a dollar sign on that. We cannot put a dollar sign on peace of mind, which is one of the things I decided to do by shifting from working nights to doing what I do now as a content creator, as a coach. Yes, you cannot put, it's priceless, being fully present for your family when they are going through a job crisis or they've been fired from a job that they thought they're going to be in that job for the next 5 years. And somebody has decided they don't want them at the job anymore. But imagine as a parent, because you are able to work your own hours, instead of them seeking out some bad influence, they come to you, the person who really loves them and cares about their well-being and the reputation of the family anyway. That is priceless. You can't quantify that with a dollar sign or with a pound sign. So you see, I'm not the coach that is just going to tell you, oh, how to make money online. We can do all that. I can start, if you need some help in growing your social media presence, how to be consistent, how to keep showing up, even if you have small numbers, you can make good money with a small following. That's all technical stuff. We can talk about that. We can talk about that. Digital marketing. I enjoy digital marketing. Some of my best clients that have paid me like £500 straight away was when I was doing a live stream. They had never met me before. On one live stream, decided I want to work with you. I like your energy. I like your positivity. I need some support. So it's not always about how long people have been seeing you online. Not necessarily. It's not even how many people are following you. The number of followers doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's about the value that you are bringing to your unique audience. I hope this is making sense. Listen, I'm going to be wrapping up. This has been so good. I've really enjoyed my time here because this is going to stay on YouTube. It's going to be here, for however long. So you can catch up and, go and watch from the beginning and start taking notes, especially if you're like, you know what, I need to make a change. You know what, I'm done with my own excuses. Especially if you are like, you know what, I am done giving my power to other people. I'm taking my power back. If you are like, I need to take my power back, let's connect. Let's talk about it. Let me give you some support and guidance, but I only take a few people. In fact, in about not 6 months, in about 8 months, I'm going to be doing something really special for those who are joining this community that I'm building. Something really special for you that you will enjoy. It's just going to be amazing, but it's only for action takers, and it's very unique in the marketplace. I haven't announced it, I haven't talked about it, but as you are doing this journey with me, you'll be one of the first few that will know about it. Yes. So listen, I hope you have an amazing week. Today is Friday. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And whatever you do, let me give you some homework whenever you watch this. This week or this weekend, even next week, for the next 7 days or 14 or 21 days, decide to start tracking your energy. Something I almost forgot to talk about. Start tracking your energy. What drains your energy throughout the day? Because the way nature has it, our body is designed to have energy when you wake up in the morning, ready, like even in the ancient times, to go hunt for food, right? To go in the jungle and get food for your children, go fishing, go to work, right? But if you are waking up and you haven't got the energy, there's several reasons why. Because our body is designed to have energy to go, 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 go as you start the day and start slowing down towards the evening. That's nature's clock. Normal, the basic things that we overlook. Check out Dr. Andrew Huberman. Check out his content here on YouTube. You'll be blown away. Several other, experts talk about that as well. Um, if there's a reason why you're feeling low, we have to investigate because that is not the normal way. That is not the healthy way. We can transition, you can go through low periods, we can go through grieving, life happens, but it's not normal to stay low forever and just, there has to be a natural way. Listen, everything that I'm talking about here, make an informed decision. Speak with your GP. If it means getting a second or third opinion, check out why. What is it? Could it be your diet? Could it be that you are around negative people who are discouraging? Could it be that you are feeling trapped in your life, like you don't have options? Could it be you are feeling like you are made for more, but you are in a small place and you're not sure how to get out? Yes? Could it be there is a loved one who has moved on, but you have struggled to release them, to let them go? Could it be there is some unresolved emotion, some event that happened? Could it be there is some unresolved trauma, something that happened in your life that you haven't processed well? Maybe the trauma is trapped somewhere in your body. There are people who are specialists in all these different things. Yes? So, what am I going to say here? Make sure you go back and watch this video because I decided I'll do this live stream just as a treat for myself. And for those of you who may want to know me a little bit more because I've got some content on here. But I wanted to help those of us who want to get back in alignment. Those of us who you can feel your life is out of sync. And yet you're not even making enough money. Imagine your life is out of sync and you're not even making enough money. The truth is, success is about getting back in alignment. Happiness is about getting back in alignment, being true to yourself. Happiness is no longer hiding from yourself. Happiness is being honest with ourselves. Happiness is understanding we have options. Happiness is the freedom to practice our personal values, our faith. Happiness is living and being a part of a community that supports you and you support. Happiness is living out your purpose. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to be wrapping up now. If you have any questions for me, leave me a message. I'm only taking serious inquiries. I'm not here for, if you are not ready to make a change, this is not for you. But if you are ready, let's talk about it. Appreciate you. Thanks. Thank you so much. I will see you on another video.